Alright, y'all. Here we are on another Monday morning. Anyway, if you want to have, there's an old song. It's called Used Log Truck. Buzz Martin did it, if you've ever heard of him. If not, you can look it up. But one of the parts in there, he says, if you want a real experience and want to try your luck, buy yourself a used log truck. I tell you what, it just seems like it's one thing right after the other. Um, as y'all know, food's done. I got a microwave in here. Anyway, that's a pretty good song if you want to check it out. And as y'all probably know, if you watch my videos, I know I have made a couple videos on it. This truck I have here, this 387 Peterbilt, it's got the Eaton. Uh, I'm not exactly sure what the technical name is. I've heard people call it UltraShift. I've heard it called AutoShift. But what it is it's basically a manual transmission that has solenoids that, actuators and all this stuff that changes the gears for you. It still shifts up and down like a normal 10 speed, but it changes it for you. It's got a clutch pedal and all that. When you downshift, it even revs the motor up a little bit when you downshift and all that. It's a 10 speed manual transmission that automatically changes the gears. So, had a little trouble with it. It hadn't wanted to shift, the best in the world for whatever reason. And I put some different parts on it, and lately I've been having trouble with the high and low range. It'll shift, but it's slow. A lot of times when I take off in the morning, when it goes to do the first downshift, it'll get hung in between the gears, and it, you let air on the clutch, it won't go anywhere, and you hear air spewing, so you cut it off and give it a few minutes, and you'll hear it seal back, and then you can go up the road. And I have had it do sometimes the opposite, which it'll get hung in second gear, won't upshift, downshift, go to reverse, or anything like that. And you have to push the neutral button, cut it off, and wait for it to go back into neutral. And I put a gear selector on it, and I put a high and low range. It's a little electrical part that wires plug into. Put both of those on there, but it still gave me trouble and everything. But what I put on there was aftermarket. It wasn't from Eaton, and I just figured maybe that would be what it is. I had another guy said that he thought that it wouldn't be that; it would be the synchronizer and the transmission. Well, anyway, this here is the new aftermarket one I took off. I don't remember how much this cost. This is a gear selector. I should have made videos on changing all this stuff, but I didn't. And this here is a high and low range thing. As you see, it's got, 4 bolts, wires plug in. It's got a little screen down here and O-rings and stuff. I see trash on the screen here from whatever reason. It looks like trash on it. It could just be a discoloration, but anyway, this piece here, and it's got no name, no nothing here. On the Eaton, it has that here. And I decided to go ahead and order the Eaton parts and put that on there. And so far, so good, knock on wood and all that. It's shifting like a brand new one. So I'm thinking, not being the factory parts, it just wouldn't work with it or wouldn't work like it's supposed to. So that little piece there was like $350, and I don't remember how. The one I put on before the aftermarket was like $150, and I don't remember how much the other piece was I put on there, but ain't none of them cheap. But trucks don't make money if they ain't moving. And I've got a farm and animals and all that, so we was taking care of all that yesterday evening, and then one of my kids had a birthday and everything. So, last night I cleaned my truck out because it desperately needed it. Some things like that, and I wanted to wash it off, and I pulled it up because the hose wouldn't reach, and started washing it off, and then I discovered I got a broke spring on the back. The back axle on the right hand side, it's got the low air leaf thing, and right there in between the U-bolts where they always break, it's broke. And it done spread apart a little bit. Look like it's been broke for a while, it's rusty, and I just didn't know it. Well, obviously I don't have one laying around. And last night at midnight that wasn't an option. I tried to take the U-bolts loose where I could get the top spring out of the way where I could work on it a little better, but it wouldn't come loose. They're too tight. I need a torch to heat it. But I took a sledgehammer and smacked the back of the spring and closed it back up. And then I took my welder and welded on the top spring goes over it, so you got a little bit on each side that you can get to. And I welded that back together. Try to make it through a couple days. We got a spring and everything ordered now, but today's Monday, and they're saying Thursday is when it should come in. So truck don't make money if it's sitting. Number one. Number two, we're cutting hardwood. The mill we haul to is on quota, so you got to get your loads in the beginning of the week, or somebody else is going to get them. So it forces your hand to run this thing. And number two, they're not open all night. They close at 5 o'clock in the evening. So, if I got the thing going, 4 o'clock in the evening, well, I don't have time to get any loads off. It closes at 5. So, that's one thing about cutting hardwood in our area. It really got you in a box. And this is the only hardwood mill around for 50 miles, and they milk it. They enjoy that benefit. But anyway, just letting y'all know what's going on. Maybe it's something that'll help you if you. I've seen a couple people commenting on my videos and stuff about the transmission here. One guy was looking at getting a truck that had the same transmission and everything, and I just want to do everything I can to help anybody that's got one before you go spend the money in these aftermarket parts, and then you still got to buy the good parts anyway. Or if you put those on and it's still acting up, and then you think it's something more major, and then you spend a bunch of money going in the transmission doing things, or putting the XY shifters on. That's like $1,500 or $2,000 just for the part, not counting doing it. So anyway, hopefully that helps somebody, and kind of let you know what's going on.